Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, guys, I got a good show for you guys here. And I'm going to tell you, I think coronavirus very soon is going to go bye-bye. Quite seriously. And I'll explain to you guys why. And anyway, and also, I'm going to talk about the liquidity trap that the Fed finds itself in right now. And why this is deflationary, and later it's going to switch to inflationary, possibly hyperinflationary. So let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is why the coronavirus might be going bye-bye. Okay? Scientists find more evidence that novel coronavirus can travel on air pollution particles. It says a team of researchers who have been studying air pollution levels in Italy's province have found more evidence that the virus can travel on air pollution particles, which might offer some insight into the issue. The University of Bologna in Italy led the work and said it was important to investigate if the virus could be carried more widely on air pollution. Anyway, what they found was that these virus particles, it says large virus-laden droplets from infected people's coughs and sneezes, fall to the ground within a meter or two. And that's why these social distancing policies where they say don't get within 2 meters of somebody. But it says, but much smaller droplets, less than 5 microns in diameter, can remain in the air for minutes to hours and travel further. Further meaning possibly a breeze could come along and they could travel for a quarter mile. Seriously. But what the experts are not sure about is whether these less than 5 micron size in diameter particles that can travel through the air for a considerable distance, whether they can transmit the virus. Now, I've done shows about this. I believe that they can, and the reason why is very, very simple. This is a novel coronavirus. It's something new to your immune system. Normally, a virus comes in, if it's under a 5 micron size particle, your immune system handles it and kicks it out. In order for the virus to colonize your system normally, like a normal head cold or a flu, it has to be larger than 5 microns in diameter to make that initial inoculum, what's called the inoculum. Under 5 microns in diameter, normally you don't catch a virus. But this virus is different because this virus is so new, so novel, when it comes into your system, your immune system doesn't respond to it. And so under a 5 micron particle, it could very well, this virus could very well start to colonize. But there's a big but here. If it does start to colonize with such a small particle under 5 microns, it's going to have to go through all of those multiplications of those smaller amounts of the virus, which takes time. Each time the virus divides in your system as it's incubating, it takes time. That time is what your immune system needs to start to understand what this virus is. And so it's very likely that if you did catch this virus off the air, say from, 100 meters away, somebody sneezes, and that air blows in your direction, you catch the virus off the air, well, you're going to get what's called a low inoculum, a very, very low inoculum. And what it's going to lead to is a asymptomatic version of the virus. So the virus you're probably going to catch off of the air like that, you won't even know you have it. It'll be asymptomatic because your immune system is building up a response and building up antibodies to it. And so you might never know you had it. All it might manifest itself is maybe you'll get a little headache, or maybe you'll get a little scratchy in the back of your nose and stuff and have a little bit of a hoarse voice for a day or two or something like that. Or maybe a very, very, very low-grade fever, and you get over it and you never know you had it. I personally believe that this virus is transmitting that way. on a massive scale. And most of the people don't even know they have it or have had it. But they've had it, and their immune system now is ready for it, because the immune system over the period of time, the immune system, as it's multiplying in your system, the immune system is building up a response. Time is of the essence with this virus. How this virus kills is it's a new coronavirus. If you get into a lot of this virus, you come in contact with somebody who's really sneezing and everything else, like if you're a healthcare worker, and you get it all over you, mucus and everything else, and you get into billions of these viruses. The virus will overwhelm your immune system before your immune system even knows what it is, in that case. And then you'll get very sick or die, And that's why the very ill should be isolated with this virus, because they will give you what's called a high inoculum. In other words, you'll get a heavy initial dose of the virus. It'll overwhelm your immune system before your immune system can respond to it. But with a very tiny dose of the virus, a tiny inoculum like you catch off of the air, say a car drove by and a guy was sneezing and you caught it that way, then you're going to have more of an asymptomatic case to it. But either way, you're probably going to build up an immunity to the virus. And the world is building up a herd immunity to the virus. And I think that what we're seeing in the official numbers is only a tiny, 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 tiny fraction to the amount of people who've already had it. And that's why I think the virus is getting ready to disappear. And we can see this effect first in China. They're going up to like 80,000 cases and then done. Pretty much done, right? And then we've seen the effect that same effect start to happen in other countries, and now just about every country is going through that same effect. The virus is following a pattern. Okay? And all of this stuff I just talked about right now is all inconclusive. I mean, there's been no research done on this. There's no studies done. There's no peer-reviewed papers to study or anything like that on the things I just talked about. But if we do see the virus start to disappear over the next coming months, now you have to understand it's not going to be something that's overnight, because a lot of people are going to come out of isolation now and they're going to start catching it. So we could see a little bit of an uptick over the next couple months. But ultimately, I think that the virus is going to start to say bye-bye. I think probably by the end of summer, this virus will be history. Now, it could make a resurgence, maybe next winter or something, the few people that haven't had it could start to, but there's going to be a certain amount of herd immunity at that point. So it's probably not going to be the big deal that we've just went through all over again. So now, enough talk about this virus. Well, we're going to move on now. And now we're going to talk about the velocity of money. Right here. The velocity of money. Listen, guys. Tell you what's going on. There's a biggest liquidity trap in the history of the world. If you don't know what a liquidity trap is, I'll explain it to you. Okay, say there was a family, and say it was a single mother, and say she had 4 kids, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And the 2 older brothers were like 13 and 14, and the 2 younger sisters were like 7 and 8 years old, right? So they were all up in the bedroom one night, and they could hear their mama talking to somebody downstairs through the registers of the house, the heat registers. They could hear the sounds coming up, and they could hear everything their mother was saying, And their mother was saying to the guy, she says, I haven't got enough money for food this month. I'm going to be running out of food, And the kids, they all up there and they're all hearing that. The 2 older brothers specifically, and they go over to the bed and they start chatting, these 2 older brothers. What are we going to do? We're running out of food. And they're all upset, So next morning, the mama comes down, she cooks breakfast as normal for all 4 of them. And all 4 of them are sitting around the table, and mama's in the kitchen cooking, and she's cooking up eggs and ham, and she's cooking up biscuits and everything else, and toast, and pancakes and everything. She comes out with this big tray of food, and she sets it on the table. And she says to the older brother, "You say the blessing." And then she goes back into the kitchen. Well, the older brother, he goes over and he grabs a big Tupperware container. One of those containers that have the lids that snap down on it. And he just sits there and he slides all the food into the Tupperware container and scurries off and puts it into the linen closet on the end of the kitchen there, on the end of the living room. So all the food's hid away. And he sits back down at the table and he says, "Mama, we's hungry." Mama comes back in. She looks. Sure enough, the kids, they've ate all the food. All the plates are empty. The big dish is empty. She says, "My gosh, you kids got an appetite this morning. They ate up everything. I can't believe it. I'm going to go in and cook you up another big batch." So she goes into the kitchen. It takes her about 10 minutes, and she comes in with another big tray of food. Same stuff all over again, right? And she sets it down on the table. And she goes back into the kitchen again. And the older brother, he does the same thing. He scoops all the food off into another big Tupperware container, snaps the lid on, puts it into the linen closet. And he sits down, raps on the table, and says, "Mama, we're hungry." So this goes on about 3 times. And the mother's scratching her head saying, "Where's all this food going?" Well, I'm going to tell you what. Exact same thing is happening with the Fed right now. They're pumping these big amounts of money out there. Everybody in the country, they're just like the kids. They're scared that they're going to run out. Everything's going to run out. No money and everything. Deflation and all this kind of stuff. And so what's happening is this is a liquidity trap. The money's getting trapped in the system. Nobody's spending any money. Everybody's socking the money away. Just like the older brother socked away the food into the pantry. And it seems like everything's deflating while the Fed's pumping the money out. Now, the Fed's already told all of us. They've said, we can print unlimited amounts of money. What are we all missing? What are we missing there? Well, we're missing the unlimited amount. And we're saving something that they can print unlimited amounts of. Endless. Unlimited means they can make more money than there is leaves on the trees out there. But you're saving it. Hoarding it, not spending it and everything. People are. This is the liquidity trap. And this is why the velocity of money, right here, this chart, is going so low. Because it's being hoarded away. The money is not being spent. This is the velocity of money. And the more money they print, the lower this chart goes. And look how low it's going. Never in history is it getting down so low. It's going down to nothing. No money will be moving anywhere. And what happens on the other side of this? When all of these people out there suddenly realize, hey, the Fed's not kidding. The Fed really can print unlimited amounts of this stuff. What happens when that dawns on everybody? I mean, it should be a no-brainer. They should know it already. But what happens when suddenly it dawns on them all that the Fed is not going to stop? The Fed's just going to keep pushing this stuff out there at us. And at the same time, this flu starts to go bye-bye. The economy starts to come back a little bit. Not up to full steam like it was before, but starts to come back a little bit. Things start to move a little bit again. But the Fed's still churning the money out like crazy. And goods out there, things we buy, is in tight supply. Because nobody's been building anything. Nobody's been making anything. Then we're going to see inflation like we've never seen inflation before. What about oil right now? They're shutting off all the wells. Yes, we got a glut of supply right now. We've got ships that are being parked out to sea. They're full of oil. But the production of the oil is going to drop off a cliff. Now the economy starts to pick up back again. What do people need? They're going to need gas for their cars. They want to do some summer driving. The economy starts picking back up. What's going to happen? Not going to be any oil for you because it's all shutting down right now. So we're going to go from full tankers full of oil, and nobody wants the oil. They give you $37 to take a barrel of oil. The oil price is next to nothing right now. We're going to we're going to travel suddenly from that into something that we've never seen before, where you can't get oil and the oil price is shooting up. That's what we're going to go to. We've created imbalances. Not only this disease has created imbalances in the whole world's financial system, and also in food production. I can't begin to tell you guys what a situation we're facing. I've never seen anything like it. I was looking at pictures, and old motion movie pictures from London in the 1930s, you know. Now, I was in the peak, that was right during the Great Depression. And I saw all these buses and trucks and everything, and people going around, and it was very busy. Very, very busy, you know? And this was during the peak of the Great Depression, and back during the Great Depression era. It was very busy. A lot of bustling economic activity compared to what we have now. Now you go and you take a look at the streets, and it's all empty. It's like a deserted, it's like a ghost town. There's no economic activity going on. And during the Great Depression, there was still economic activity. Right now, there's nothing. And everybody's scared. We're heading into something that is a monster like we've never seen before. And we're right on the front side of it. We're being carried into it right now by momentum that we had. Almost like a guy going down the highway, you know. When he first puts his brakes on, he doesn't come to an immediate stop. He has momentum that carries his car forward for a few hundred yards as he slowly comes to a stop. That's what's happening right now. We're still being carried by momentum. But what happens when the momentum stops? The music is going to stop. And this is frightful. We're going to get in there and take a look at the markets right now. I know this is getting to be a little bit of a long show, but this is important stuff, guys. You got to go through this with me. It's really important. Let's take a look at the silver price today. It's just basically caught in a range. 15.15 for silver today. And gold, it's trapped in a range too. 17.13. Okay, the range from gold is from 1709 to 1740, right? And we're right almost in the middle of that range, a little bit on the low side of the range. It's down $15.70 on the day. Let's take a look now at the stock market, and it's up 24,057. It's up 200. What? So let me refresh the page. It's like 294 points up on the day. Oil. This is the big story. Unbelievable what's happening. The oil industry is quite literally shutting down. The entire world oil industry is shutting down right now. And it's lost $4.33 on the day. $12. Can you imagine? I don't even believe I'm even saying this. $12.61 per barrel. It's absolutely unreal. What are we headed into? We are heading into, beyond the Great Depression, we are heading into calamity. That's what we're heading into. When the economy, the world economy, starts to pick back up again, that's when the calamity is going to begin. It's calamity is what we're headed toward. I wouldn't be surprised, the ramifications of what's going to happen with this is unreal. Let's take a look now at U.S. Treasuries. We're looking at rising yields, and we're looking at about 5 or 6 basis points. 30 years at 1.23, and the U.S. 10 years at 1.65. Let's take a look at the dollar index, 100.16 on the day. 100.16 on the day. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to be documenting this as it unfolds. And thank you guys for listening. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.